Shout out to Paul here at T-Shirt Depot. I'll never forget, and I'm so grateful to him to this day. He goes, Christian, let me ask you a question. Do you want to be a millionaire one day? And I was like, yeah, I do. That'd be great.
The owner and creator of Alphalete apparel.
One of the most veteran of the OG fitness YouTubers,
Christian Guzman.
If there's anyone out there like listening that feels like there's no hope because you need to have all this big reach, that's not the case. I get asked a lot about making money online and stuff nowadays, and I tell people, like, when I was coaching and doing well, I was still in college and I had 14,000 subscribers.
If you know how to do it, then you can just put some time aside and just get it done.
Yeah, when I had to destroy that inventory for Alphalete, same year where I had to make the call, I can't fucking take anything more on my plate. We have to scrap it.
What do you think is the art of building a loyal audience and community?
That's a really good question. I want to say...
Now, before we jump into today's episode, I just want to mention that this podcast is brought to you by me and everything that I have built to help you guys level up. If you want to transform your physique, build muscle, lose body fat, build strength, then you have the Thirst app. This has everything inside that you could possibly need to get yourself in shape, to hold yourself accountable as well. I also have the Digital Playbook, which is a step-by-step guide to help you guys build a following, monetize the following, and also build a strong personal brand. This is everything which I have done over the past nearly 10 years to allow myself to live a life of financial freedom and also geographical freedom. I can basically do whatever I want. Life is good. And I also have my newsletter, which has been revamped, where I'll share exclusive podcast insights, my raw thoughts on business, fitness, and much, much more. So if you're interested about any of those, check out the description. You'll find the links to all of them. Now let's get cracking with the episode. What is up, guys, and welcome back to First Things First. We are, first of all, we're using headphones. Second of all, we're in Houston, and I'm joined with Christian Guzman.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, Mike.
Well, thank you, first of all, for the tour of Alphaland and the workout we've just done. That is a very impressive facility.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for, I've been, not going to lie, been very much looking forward since we met in,
it was September.
September to show you this place. So I was patiently waiting.
It's funny because we must have known each other for so long because we kind of do a similar thing in terms of content creation, the YouTube, but we haven't actually met until that point in September.
Yeah, and I feel like just meeting at that point, I was like, the moment has finally come. Right? Just like one of those kind of deals. And yeah, I mean, this is my opinion. I feel like we just hit it off and just like, you know, everything is exactly as I assumed it would be, you know? So it just felt kind of natural.
You know, it was good as well because obviously I posted that picture on the story and there's so many people were happy. They were like, oh, yeah, you finally met Christian.
It finally happened. Yeah.
And even I made the announcement that I was coming here to America and I was going to stop by Houston and everyone's like, oh, you've got to go Alphaland. You've got to do a podcast with Christian.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad we're making it happen, bro.
Yeah. So you started doing your thing on YouTube back in 2012. 2012.
What about you?
Mine was 2016.
Oh shoot. Yeah. I got an early start, man.
Yeah. You were literally one of the OGs doing your thing in the whole fitness thing.
Yeah, it's I would think I was second year of college. No, sorry, first year of college, second semester. So I was filming in all my physique updates in the community bathroom at like 1 a.m. when no one would be up during a weekday. And that's kind of how I started, just in the dorm room and just, you know.
What made you want to do it? Because like it's not like there were really many people all doing it at that point.
There weren't many, but at the time there was probably like 3 to 5 people that I was consuming content of. Scooby, Scott Herman, Matt Ogus had kind of started, and so I was pretty like already really enjoying his videos, and he was doing, you know, vlog style, and then Chris Jones, and Greg Plitt. For me, it was like Greg Plitt was, though he wasn't like a vlogger at all, he was more like just in front of a camera. I just wanted to, I don't know, I feel like in college I didn't feel like I fit in, especially the school I went to was very primarily fraternity, sorority. You're either in a fraternity, sorority, or an athlete. And if you weren't, it was like a 10% of the population was not in either of those. And that was like me. So I felt like I had the time. I loved fitness. I was already training. I was like, might as well kind of start this little, why not just film some tips, you know?
What did you study?
I was in school for kinesiology the first year. And then I quickly realized that I wanted to switch to health and fitness management. So I transferred out first year and went to a new school the second year to pursue that. But I assumed that health and fitness management was like owning a gym, and it definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
But I dropped out right after the second year when I was still taking all my core classes. I didn't actually get into any like specialized courses. But I think as soon as I realized, I knew that the owning a gym and training studio was going to be like what I wanted to do. So as soon as I realized like I'm already kind of working towards that, I was doing emails, just responding to emails, and eventually started charging like $50 a meal plan, workout plan for like customized help for people. And I saw some income coming in. So for me, that was really, it was almost like, damn, do I need to stay in this, or can I kind of just keep doing what I'm kind of doing? And over the months of kind of generating some revenue, it was clear to me that like, okay, there's a path for me to do what I want to do without having to do another 2, maybe 3 years of school, which I was never good at.
Yeah. So when did the beginning of opening the gym start?
The beginning, so I started videos in 2012. 2014 is when I opened my first gym. And that was a 900 square foot box. It was a 1,500 square foot warehouse, but there was 600 square feet of office. So yeah, 900 square foot actual gym, and completely failed within about a year. I mean, I didn't know how to hire an employee. I just assumed that I could put like a lock box outside and give my membership or my members like the code, and that they would, not sneak friends in. I assumed they would treat the equipment well. I assumed they wouldn't take the pre-workout I had on the counter, and it slowly just became very apparent. Like, I assumed their cards would go through and I would try to process them at the end of the month. That was not the case. So it was just a lot more than I assumed it would be.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody likes the idea of having their own gym, but a lot of people don't understand what it actually takes to build it in the first place, the capital it costs, and just how it should operate and make money. Like I had a little taste of it when I was younger. I think it was like 2013 when I opened a studio. So,
same year, yeah. Same. We were the same. Different areas of the planet doing the same thing.
But it was never. I don't think we could get the planning permission to operate it as a public gym, but we could get away with it being a studio where coaches could train their clients out of. So it was one of those things where it was like my dream to do it. But once I'd kind of done it and was doing it, I was like, actually, I don't want to really do this.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely relate to that. I probably just didn't look up the regulations. I probably just went for it and just didn't really know. But I mean, I just had no idea like how to. I mean, it's not like I had a system to run the memberships. I would just get everyone's card and manually input them on my credit card machine. Like I genuinely, I was 20 years old. I had no idea about anything. I just knew, okay, I need insurance. I need my LLC. And I need to get the credit cards, and and a waiver. And then that was kind of what I started with.
How did it progress after that? You said it failed.
Yeah. So I started charging $20 a month, and essentially like within 9 to 10 months, it was very clear that just the headache of trying to, I knew it just wasn't succeeding as its own thing. And at the time I was putting so much of my time into YouTube and into my online coaching, because my online coaching funded the gym. So for me, it was, the gym was going to be like, I'll do the online coaching. I'll really save up so I can start this thing. And it just was such a headache. And it was so at the time, like, it's so crazy to think back 12 years ago, like what was draining to me there, seems like a tiny little issue now, but it was just so much headache that I decided to cancel. It was at the point where if I had 40, 50 memberships, I mean, 35 of them were getting declined when I would try to charge the card. And I was just like, God, I don't want to like keep calling these people that are friends to me, because we're all a good community and tight. I don't want to be like, hey bro, your card didn't go through. Like, can you got me, or like what? I just got I don't want to do it anymore. And so I just shut and I knew that I could sustain my life through my other avenues, through coaching and through just the social content and YouTube videos. So I shut it down and was like, you know what? I'm just going to I'm just gonna I'll keep it private. I'll use it for filming, and I will ship my clothes out of here. Right, it'll just be my private studio spot or whatever.
So you already had an idea to build a clothing brand, quite early.
Yes. So I had like the CG Fitness merch.
I remember that. Yeah.
I was doing that for like a year and a half, and kind of every drop, just like adding a color T-shirt, or maybe doing a hoodie or doing a beanie, and all while knowing that in order to level up, I would need to start a brand and create a name that was bigger than CG Fitness. So Alphalete was already an idea in like the 2014, 2013 even year, but obviously getting the logos and getting the business set up and, starting the sampling process, which was probably like at that time, maybe 7 months or so. It wasn't like a crazy year out kind of deal, but it was like, I don't know, it felt so much bigger at the time. Like, oh my gosh, I need a new logo. Like, this is my everything. Like, I need a simple task like that, or now it's simple, was just such a big monumental, this logo has to be perfect. The name has to be perfect. And so in 2015 is when I finally launched Alphalete. So I was still in that 1,500 square foot spot. And I remember telling people in December 2014, so 2 months before launch, I remember telling them, this is a new company. Because I thought I was going to launch in December. Then my first batch came out completely fucked up, so I couldn't launch them. But I was like, this launch is about to happen. This is the company. This is what it means. This is the messaging. This is for the people who aren't scared to go after their dreams. And it was pretty much an extension of the videos and, I don't know, the mindset really that I was really listening to at the time. I was super into, like I said, Greg Plitt, and just a lot like Les Brown, Eric Thomas, a lot of these motivational speakers. And I really was just like, when I was working, doing my coaching plans, that'd be in the background on repeat. And it just sort of, that mindset really, those were the foundational pillars that I wanted to shape the brand on. And so I announced it in 2014 and we launched in 2015.
So what happened with this fucked up batch? You just...
I ate it, bro. Yeah,
How much did that cost?
At the time, I think that was like $12,000. They were 2 sizes too small. So I got the
That'd
samples.
be okay for some people though. I'd take one of them.
Literally, the XL fit like maybe a medium. And I just remember, because I had been doing all the CG Fitness clothing through like a local printer. Shout out to Paul here at T-Shirt Depot. We still use him for like some Alphaland exclusive tees and stuff. But I was, working with him so closely on CG Fitness that I remember going to him for advice when the first batch came in and the sizing was messed up. Like, it wasn't what I approved at the fitting for the samples. So my bulk order was different than what I approved. And I remember going to him and being like, Paul, I put like $12,000 into this and the sizes are messed up. And he told me, I'll never forget, and I'm so grateful to him to this day. He goes, Christian, let me ask you a question. Do you want to be a millionaire one day? And I was like, yeah, I do. That'd be great. Don't launch the shirts. Redo them. Get them perfect. And then do it. And I was like, you're right. It's almost like I knew that that's what I had to do. I just didn't really want to get myself to come to that decision.
Yeah.
Because it was so much in my bank account. That was huge. And I already came out and told people this is about to launch. How am I going to start a brand when I've already, like, you can't even trust what I'm saying. You can't trust my word.
Yeah.
Like, I just promised you I'm going to do this whole thing, did this whole hype video, everything. And I felt like fuck, what a way to start off this brand. Right. And so I made the announcement. I was open with people. I was like, guys, look, can't launch these. I'm so sorry. TBD. Like I'll let you know when they're actually going to be ready. So then, thankfully, my coaching was doing good, man, because that didn't wipe me out.
Yeah.
But I had enough money to invest again, and kind of ballsy. I was like, you know what? Instead of doing 3 colors of a shirt, I'm going to do 7. So I did 7 shirts. I fixed the fitting. They still came out a little wonky, the batch that actually launched, but they came out way better than the first one. The sizes were actually like true to size.
Yeah.
And so we postponed like 3 months. And then in February 2015, I finally was able to drop the collection. And thankfully, it didn't take like another 7 months. It was the same factory. I just was like, look, we need to fix this, like make these changes. And we did it pretty quick. So yeah, 3 months later we were live.
I don't get how, if you say the factory messed up the first time, should they not have reimbursed you for it? Or was it like a miscommunication?
I mean, I don't remember all the details. It could have been a miscommunication. It could have very likely, like, maybe, I don't know. It could have been, I just didn't really realize what size splits. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just remember like getting the bulk and being like, these are 2 sizes too small. Material was great. The logos were great. Everything was great, but they were just the wrong sized.
So I'm assuming that with the launch, it did pretty well.
Yeah. The first day we launched, I was used to, like, when I did CG Fitness, we would have, $7,000 to $10,000 days when we would drop, which was like phenomenal. And the first day we launched Alphalete, it was at 10 a.m. on a Saturday. We did $57,000 in like 3 minutes. And I was like, holy shit, this is going to be different. And later that afternoon, we were like $127,000. And I had just never seen money like that. That was like, I don't know, 5 months worth of coaching in 3 hours, 2 hours actually. So I was like, and of course at that point you don't really think about like, oh, what am I actually profiting? What are my expenses? You're not thinking, I just made $127,000. And it was just, I mean, that moment right there, that first 2-3 minutes of launch really like set me on a course that
you were onto something.
We were onto something, and I knew that's where I needed to put my attention. It's now it's time to taper off the coaching. It's time to taper off anything that's distracting me. This is also where I was like, okay, maybe that gym, maybe me failing at that wasn't such a bad thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, okay, that's fine. Let me hone in on this in my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And that was sort of all of my 2015.
Did the majority of the traffic come from the YouTube?
Oh yeah, all of it.
Yeah,
all of it.
Okay, damn. How many views were you kind of averaging at that point?
That's a really good question. I want to say probably about 50,000 views a video, like around that. I would say 40 to 60,000. Yeah, like, and I mean, I get asked a lot about making money online and stuff nowadays, and my biggest thing is, I tell people, like, when I was coaching and doing well, I was still in college and I had 14,000 subscribers. I had months where I was making between 20, 25, even upwards of $30,000. When I had 20,000 subscribers, I was doing 30, 35 a month. And like, just the amount of impact you can have with a relatively small follower count is pretty crazy. And I know it's easy to be like, oh, well, that was 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's not the same now. But I do know, like, now with Alphalete, we work with smaller influencers, right? That when they have their broadcast channel, they do long, in-depth YouTube videos. They work with their community. They do a ton of Q&As. They're really open. Like, they do convert like crazy with small followings. So if there's anyone out there like listening that feels like there's no hope because you need to have all this big reach, that's not the case to make good money.
Yeah. So what do you think is the art of building a loyal audience and community?
It's weird because like now I can kind of speak from that perspective, like what I think works. But back then it was literally just genuine like vlogs.
Yeah.
And
sharing your life with people.
Yeah, sharing. And I think that my number one tip, especially for men, I think that men tend to overthink like this value thing. Like, if I'm not providing value, it's not worth it. Like, but literally, like, if I look back at what I was doing, even what I try to do now on my vlogs, I literally just try to think out loud. Like, what am I thinking about? Let me just talk about what I'm thinking about and let me explain my thought process. And a lot of times, like, that ends up being the content that people can resonate with. It's not necessarily like, here's 3 things you need to do to improve your life. Like, that's just trying to think of a way to put your thoughts together in a way that could be effective and impact. Like, that's so tough to do versus like, you know what I mean? Just like kind of taking smaller moments in your day and like, hey, this is my favorite. I'm trying this protein bar out. Let's give it a shot. Let me here are the macros. Compared to other bars, this one's actually pretty decent. It's lower in fat. I tend to feel a little bit better when I have this macro ratio versus like a very high fat. But whatever it is, like, it could be anything. But I think that
people they can really resonate as well if you're open and vulnerable with people and sharing any concerns or doubts that you might have, because you come across as being a lot more relatable. I've found.
I remember, I don't know what like told me to kind of do it, but I remember ordering my first batch of gym equipment from Rogue Fitness. And I remember like, when you're doing something really big in your life and you get that, like your stomach kind of falls and your balls kind of drop and you're like, oh, like you kind of get that feeling, like almost like when you get pulled over and you're not supposed to, you're going way over the speed limit. You kind of get that feeling when you're doing something big in your life. And I remember like, I need to film this. I have a feeling I should definitely film me clicking this order. Let me just not click it. Let me get the camera, talk about it, and then talk about these feelings I'm feeling, and then click order. I ended up like crying on that. It's like tears were. I was just like, man, guys, this is a big moment. Like, it's huge. I can't believe this is actually happening. And those kind of moments are, I think, really looking back, really what set the channel apart without really intentionally trying to make it set apart. It was not like I was planning to have these emotions or anything, but I think just being able to pull the camera out on a quick, not overthinking it and just like getting it done. When I go back to look at the videos I was uploading almost every other day, and it'd be like literally just went to the supplement store, here's what I got, or like just very, very basic titles and very basic, concise, like 5 to 10 minute videos that I was just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, you know?
Were you filming and editing by yourself?
Oh yeah.
At which point did you get a videographer to help?
That would have been, I remember doing a few videos with Javon when I was at Texas State. So that was my second year in college. And I started working with him actually like during the summer when I was about to drop out. So that would have been 2012. I went to TCU 2013. I remember like he had a company that he was working on called Veer Optics. So it was like a media company. He was good with the camera. And I remember just doing a Gymshark haul, and I had him film it, right? Or there was a few videos I did that year, but then the next year, in the following year, we did even more videos. So I was like, hey, I'll pay you to come and let's do some cool edits. And for 2014, it kind of started, 2013. By 2015, I was trying to kind of implement more of that into my channel. But yeah, I mean, I guess it is kind of why, I guess I was making money, so I figured I could afford to invest back into the channel. And that's all it really was at that point. It wasn't really like, I think these cinematics are going to pop off or anything. I think I just really liked how his camera work was. And I was like, that could be cool to implement.
I think back then, there was a wave and there was a trend where like that was the thing. And I think you might have been one of those guys that actually started it. I don't know I can't remember if at that point Nabil was editing your videos.
No, Nabil wasn't until like 2017.
2017, yeah. Talented.
But I remember when I saw Nabil's work. So Nabil and Marine came to town because we just got Marine as an athlete, and this young kid came with him as his videographer. And I remember he filmed a workout edit of Marine and I at the gym. And when I watched that video, he was the first one to put sound effects, bro. Like, like the little you kind of like almost like the headphones were bleeding out. And I was like, yo, that's crazy, man. And then it turns out he really wanted to, like, he was down to work with me. And I was like, I'm not trying to steal you, like, at all. So we ended up just doing like a 90-day spurt. So he came and filmed for 90 days, went back home, to do it. But that kind of that's how Summer Shredding series kind of started leveling up. Yeah. And that's how, a lot of people do look back at the cinematic like era, if you will, of that entire journey, and really it was new at that time.
Yeah. I mean, he came out to Dubai. This was 2021? Maybe 2020
or 2021. So I was trying to get him to leave Dubai and come to Houston and film Alphaland build with me.
Yeah. And he did a few videos for me, and he was so fucking good.
He's just fun to be around.
Yeah. But then it's like, it's frustrating because, if he's not there and he's the one that you kind of want to work with, bouncing between different cameramen it's annoying because they all have their different style. You got different chemistry, and then it can kind of give your channel a different vibe, which is maybe not what you want. But
I think it's okay as long as you know that even if no one's helping you film, you at least have a good base.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's how I kind of always, and even now, like I don't have anyone helping with any videos now. So I'm like, thank God, like I know how to put together a vlog. Like it's really not hard, but
it's a basic skill. If you're going to do content creation, I think you should learn the absolute fundamentals of how to edit and film a video, because there's going to be some times where either the person that you need to help film and edit isn't available, and you need to just get something out quickly. If you know how to do it, then you can just put some time aside and just get it done.
Yep.
Instead of having to wait for this person to be available, and then maybe you've missed the opportunity or the momentum that you've built up.
I think exactly what you just said describes how really I tell everybody that wants to start anything.
Yeah.
Any business, any idea, any hobby, like figure out how to do something on your own and sustain it on your own before you try to outsource because then you just become dependent.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
And it's not good, especially in business, to do that.
At what point did you start to delegate and outsource things with Alphalete?
Well, or like,
tell me all the mistakes you made.
Man, let's see. 2015, hired one of my previous clients. I was like, yo, like,
do you want to work?
Yeah, you want to work? So like that was the first few years. Eventually I hired.
I mean, did they do a good job?
I mean, at the time, yeah, it was, but a lot of these, a lot of my first employee, it was very much like, I always think of the Things 3 app. It's like a checklist app that I love. And it's almost like so many relationships with employees have always just been like checklists and not like, I need you to own this responsibility, or I need you to own this, it's yes. And the fact that like a lot of people I've worked with are really good at checking off the list if I can constantly update a list and have them, but at the end of the day, like I've realized some staffing like that is okay, but it's just that's not going to get you far, because at the end of the day, you're still bottlenecking yourself because it's just you. It's just you, and it's not, it got me far. It did get me pretty far.
Give me an example of a checklist.
I need you to respond to 4 or 5 comments. I need you to be sure the emails are at 0 before you go. I need you to send this package that arrived. I need you to unpack the samples that arrived and lay them out on the counter. I need you, just like little things that are just like, you shouldn't have to necessarily be writing on the checklist. Yeah. You know what I mean? But almost like in the list would get so micromanaging where you'd be like, why are you writing that? Like, obviously you should do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of, like, I remember once I had about 3 employees, sometimes like they'd be playing Fortnite, or they'd be like on the computer playing games, or like, it's like, no, hey, I shouldn't have to tell you not to do that.
Yeah.
And then you start having a few moments like, I really shouldn't have to be telling you this. Like you're getting paid right now. Like, what are we doing here? And so as soon as that kind of started happening, I mean, I'm not going to let that happen for many years, many years.
Were you always hiring quite young?
Yes.
Yeah.
All young, all friends of friends. And a lot of like, sometimes as soon as I actually had some staff at the gym, I would just like, hey, you're really good I like your energy at the front desk. Like, can you come work at Alphalete? Like that kind of deal.
Yeah.
And again, like that did take me pretty far. So I can't even like knock it really. It's just now I've realized in order to actually like create a work structure where I can take a little bit of a step back and actually feel like whoever I'm hiring is like effectively doing something, it's just a different caliber of experience.
Yeah. At what point I'm assuming you started off just selling male stuff.
Yes.
When did you branch out into female?
2016. And the only reason I did it is because, I mean, I don't want to say the only reason, but I was working with a middleman, right? Like a factory guy who we had sold some, like he helped me create some of the original Alphalete men's pieces. And he was really, I mean, obviously like if I order more from him, he makes more money, right? So he came to Houston, brought 3 suitcases worth of like samples that the factory just had kind of like around it to show their capability.
Mhm.
So he showed me some sports bras, some women's tanks, some leggings and things. And I was like, you know what? I'll give that a shot. So we tweaked the designs, put the logo on, got some samples, and I came out with like a tank, a bra. I believe that was it, a tank and a bra. Hyped them up. I found some models who are even still modeled to this day with Alphalete. But we launched and I sold 3 bras.
Yeah, bro.
0 tanks.
I did the same thing with mine when I launched bikinis. I just thought for some reason, everyone will buy the bikinis. Like, why wouldn't they buy the bikinis?
Why wouldn't they buy it? It's great quality,
And
right?
like they were. I mean, they weren't the best, but they were good enough. But then I just realized that, first of all, if you're a female following me, you're not gonna be like, oh yeah, Mike knows the female fashion industry so well.
Yeah.
Like if he literally doesn't know what he's talking about. It's not like I can try them on and be like, hey, look, these are really good.
Yeah.
It's a completely different ball game, and it was a lesson which I learned. But there's some people have told me, especially when it comes to swimwear, like if your business is doing well, predominantly just in the men's category,
Stick with it.
just stick with it.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna try and sell female stuff, like this, just you're gonna need like a whole different team of people to push that.
Yeah. And it's because I remember literally selling 3 bras and then being like, you know what? I'll just go deliver them myself. Like making a joke, right? I was like, I'll just go walk them over. Like no big deal.
Yeah.
But though that didn't do well, I don't know what it was, man. But at the time I was just like, I was hungry, bro. I didn't want to give up. I was like, and especially because I had an example to look at this time. I'd already like had my Gymshark days, right? And I'd already seen from the ground up Gymshark start a women's line. And I even kind of, in a way, I was very involved in that original process and very close to the kind of like the first female athlete for them and everything. It was an ex-girlfriend of mine at the time. And I knew that if they could do it, why can't I do it?
Mhm.
Right. Like it really was just like, I know maybe I just made the wrong bra. Maybe it was the wrong colors. Maybe it was the wrong whatever. So we didn't give up on the women's. And the first in 2017, it might've been 2018 is when we finally launched our first seamless legging. That was called the Revival legging. And I called it Revival because I was like, the women's line is dead. So I'm going to revive this bitch. So I called it the Revival. And I was like, okay, this is the item you're going to like. And I'd picked out like maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10 girls that were on YouTube and or Instagram that I wanted to send the clothes to. And I was willing to pay them some money. And so we got some promotional content. We did some good photo shoots and that was okay. They launched and they did okay, maybe. But once it got into some hands of YouTubers that actually did reviews, unbiased, unpaid, like reviews of the product, and they liked them, it started coming. And that is really, really what changed the direction of Alphalete. Yeah. I mean, and it just opened up a whole new potential added revenue source instead of just sticking them. And men's was doing phenomenal. Mm-hmm. It was incredible. But this just added like, okay, let's dabble into this. And now it was, my attention has always been on men's and still is to this day. But I knew like if I could just get enough opinions from girls around me, then, and I had some girls working for me, so it was easy. I was like, hey, we try these on. Tell me what you think. What do you think? I would just literally be asking everybody like what they thought, what do you not like? And then I would kind of merge all of that feedback and then send it off to the factory and be like, can we make these changes? Can we make these changes? And I'd watch every review on YouTube from start to end and be like, okay, these are all their points. And it was just like a big data collection because as a guy, you don't know what to do. Yeah. It's right. You can't sound like you can do anything. So I just would do that. And over time, I don't want to say each iteration got better, but at least on each iteration, I was trying to make them better. Yeah. Based off of feedback. And that kind of, to this day, that's what Alphalete's kind of known for, I think, is like really putting attention into, like if we launch something, the chances of it coming back with no changes are like very slim to none. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just kind of what we have built the brand off.
If you look at all the sales last year, what was the ratio?
75% women.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Why is that?
Yeah, and it was probably in 2022. It was probably 80% women.
Do you think in general, women just like to have more variety of gym clothes so they spend more?
I think if you have an item that can really feel trusted, that it's going to be good and they love and they like it a lot, they're going to buy it again in more color. They're going to trust the brand and like want to buy. I think men are much more likely to buy a t-shirt, love it, and keep it for 7 years.
Wear the shit out
yeah,
of it.
like the amount of
in.
old core tees that I see at gyms when I travel and stuff is like, damn, you still have that one? He's like, I'll never take it off, bro. I'm like, damn, you're gonna wear that till it dies. But it's crazy, and that therefore I do think owning or running a men's only brand is a lot harder, especially if you're putting attention to quality and you're making things last. Like, you know, it's tough. And even I will say it's kind of interesting because in 2024 we launched a collection called our Men's Zero collection, and that was the reason I called it Zero. I want to make a collection with absolutely zero branding, because that's really men. That's what they want. Yeah. They want a nice silhouette that's not going to have any branding, even like a lid. They don't want anything, right? The more minimal, the better.
I think that's why Lululemon did so well.
And this was the best selling collection for men we've had in like 5 years.
Yeah.
The Men's Zero.
Yeah. Because I feel as though Gymshark have experienced a similar thing. Like, would you say that a large chunk of their sales now is from women stuff?
Yeah, but I don't know where I've heard this, but I know it's not as drastic as like 80-20. I think they do have a lot of men buying.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's still, I think, I don't know. I used to, when I was with them, women was like taking over, but I know now like it's not even, but I think it's pretty close, which is like admirable because that shows me, hey, stop giving yourself fucking excuses. There's room to grow men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you friends with Ben Francis?
Great friends.
Yeah.
Great friends.
That's good. Like you can be friends and not like.
But I'm also not going to text him like, yo, what's your split? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a respectable, like we had so much history together and we keep in touch anytime we get to see each other or we're in the same city, we like get breakfast or whatever. And it's awesome. And, but yeah, it's definitely motivating as fuck, you know? I'd say like they're doing it the biggest right now that I can look at and be like, that's crazy. They're doing that.
Yeah.
To the caliber they are, like their events and stuff are just crazy, motivating.
Going back to what you said earlier about you had a middleman. What are the pros and cons of having a middleman that communicates with the factory versus just going direct to the factory?
It's a very good question.
Because if you have the middleman, they're going to eat into your margins.
They eat the margin for sure. But I will say in certain cases, many times middlemen just have so many more connections. So I'm going to give this example of like our performance hoodies. Performance hoodies have popped off. Like they're such a good staple Alphalete product. But I have some middlemen and then I have many factories that we do work with just directly. And it's not like I send what I want to the middlemen only. No, I'm sending it to them. I'm also sending it to 4 other factories to get quotes, to get samples, to get fabrics, this is the exact measurements I want. This is what I want. And then when everything comes back to me, middlemen often have way more direct lines to get from. They may have a factory that's very good at fleece or that's very good at this that they know and trust versus like the independent factories I use, maybe they have kind of shitty cotton poly fleeces and like they aren't as like nice and plush. So really whatever sample comes back to me, whether it be middleman or a direct factory, the best.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I go with. And so it's definitely, I would say the balance now is like 20% middlemen, 80% factory direct, but sometimes with middlemen, depending on the product, if the margin's good enough, it's worth the headache. But I will say like there's been different eras of Alphalete where like right now I'm looking at working with middlemen a lot more on like men's stuff. But with women's, we're diving in a lot more direct with factory. So it's just kind of, it varies on product, on what you're trying to do. And sometimes like it's worth it if I don't want to have such a large team in-house. So like more in-house team, more salaries, more in-house designers, and you need all these different roles to kind of do what a middleman can kind of handle. So as long as you're not getting effed out of your mind with middlemen, then it's not a terrible solution.
Yeah, it's something which I've experienced, and I feel as though what I have seen myself, the middleman is taking a lot.
Yeah, probably 30%.
And that's just kind of preventing me from expanding the way that I want to expand. So I was thinking of maybe like, okay, what if I go down the route of trying to just hire the team that the middleman has and just, deal straight with the manufacturer. But I know that's going to come a fucking headache. Like just the time and effort that will need to go into hiring the team, building the team, the risk that you'll need to take on.
It is more risky for sure.
The additional expenses where I'm like, you know what? I don't know. With all the other things that I've got going on at the moment, I don't know if that's...
I'll tell you, if you're looking at the product and being like, is this middleman helping me get a literal better product that's more intricate, that's more detailed, that's something that, and I guess I can compare because I see what the direct result is from direct factory. So I'd be like, fuck, like, okay, they're bringing some design elements, or bringing like these laser cuts that like I wouldn't have thought of and shit. Like they're bringing ideas and stuff that my fashion designer that I have, he's not as good as like their team of people that can request these certain things and certain whatever stitches, and I want this glued hem at the bottom. And there's certain levels that like sometimes it's worth it if you really think that they're helping you get to a better product. But if you're doing a basic, like something more basic, then I would say it's definitely worth it to establish a direct line with a factory.
So they would be doing it because they want you to have a better product so that you will sell more, so that you will order more, and they will make more money.
Correct. Okay. Like the middlemen that we're using right now at that 20% are so hungry to do well because they know, because I'm telling them the truth, if you guys murder it and kill it, I'll slowly start letting you try more product. I'll slowly let you dabble into the women's and let you give it a shot at the samples. Yeah. Right. And it's highly motivating because like that can be a way for them to, infinitely grow their revenue.
Yeah.
Right. So help me, like it's very dependent on the situation and product. But I find also, like, just being blunt, dealing with 8 to 10 factories direct is a lot more of a headache than dealing with like 4 middlemen or 3 middlemen.
Yeah.
A lot more, know.
What are some of the pinpoints, moments that you can remember which were either the most stressful or sketchy times for the clothing brand? Well, once it was already kind of up and running, was there any points where things got a little bit hairy? Or was it all right?
Probably, I would say, honestly, like 2021 was the company's going like this. Our revenue's going like this. Alphaland expenses and Alphalete headquarters expenses are high. I didn't at all know what I was really getting into with a construction build and with buying a big property and everything. And though it made sense financially, like at the beginning, and I had some people look over it and look at my account, be sure I can afford this, right? They're like 100%, like it's a good move. But
this was taking some of the money from Alphalete, putting
correct. Alphalete's buying our headquarters. Alphalete's paying for all the upstairs that you see, all that construction, all that for all of that, right? But while also investing so much money to exponentially grow the company, your deposits are way bigger. Your risk is way bigger. I was ordering tons of volume of certain products, not knowing if they were going to hit or not, just really high confidence level.
Yeah.
And the part to answer your question, like what was the most kind of risky part of that, was really that I had no in-house finance person. I had I had an accountant, but they were always outsourced. So
you were making all this.
I was making the calls based off my gut, man. And like, as much as I wanted to just have guidance and help, it's almost like any of the accounting teams I was using, they were so busy and chaotically trying to get me caught up for all the like just growth and using the wrong cards or accounts on this and that and getting it all cleaned up. They were always like I've never been ahead, right? Like at that point, I was never ahead on my quarterly pay. It was always like, they're playing catch up. I got to run and I got to keep this thing growing. So it was like
no guidance.
And in 2021, we did $80 million in revenue, right? And so if you're doing $80 million in revenue, you're placing deposits for, 2.5, 3 million, 3.5. There were days where I was sending out $2.5 million of cash in a day for deposits when they're due. And all while not really actually having like a clear zoomed out view of, okay, if I'm ordering this much, what does this next launch have to hit for me to like be safe? You know what I mean? So it was very much gut. And thankfully it fucking worked out, bro.
Yeah.
But like now we have director of finance. We've leaned off of the outsourced accounting and outsourced for the longest time until literally last year, 2024, outsourced accounting, outsourced HR.
Yeah.
So AKA all the HR comes to me, all the accounting, it's just all like dependent on me and the assistant really. And so it was really a challenging time because I didn't want to slow down. I didn't want to have to sit in the meeting and just like go over all this stuff in the past. I have to be in the now and the future, really the future, because I'm ordering 18 months out, 14 months out. I can't be slowed down with like whatever happened in 2020 or 2019 or, I need to go over here. So I didn't want to give my time over here because I knew I'd be sacrificing what we could be doing.
Yeah.
The cost and like was just not worth, it wasn't worth the time sacrifice, to slow down in my head.
What did this new financial advisor, I imagine they've gone through all the past expenses and everything. What did they say about your behavior?
I mean, no one could say any. No, the thing is, like, I was spending a lot, but we were making a lot, and so we were still profiting like crazy. So it's like, at the end of the day, they're like, keep doing what you're doing, right? And so
imagine if someone had told you, like, oh, you need to be more conservative.
I'd be like, you don't understand, and I'm sure that like comes across so like cocky, but it's just like what I was doing every year was working. So what it took for me to kind of take a step back and be like, fuck, okay, what is in 2023, just being totally transparent. That's the first year where we had so much built up inventory at the end of the year. And this is when we had finally outsourced our warehouse. So I was in Houston, kind of similar to like Max's space here. We had a 90,000 square foot facility that we were, we were all shipping ourselves. I had all the staff. We were doing all of that. And that was like a 70 to 90 person team. Like we would bump it up on, Black Friday and birthday selling things to have like overnight shifts and all this. But it was such a headache and we were wasting so much money in house that I ended up moving to a fulfillment center. And the fulfillment center, that's when it became super apparent. Holy crap. Now this excess inventory is costing me big time. Just if it's not moving, it's costing me, right? So the amount that started costing when I wasn't moving product due to all the years where I was like, I'm going to order more. I was on a high of like, okay, whatever we do is going to hit, right? 2021, 2022, we were still growing like crazy. Well, 2023, I had to actually we had to destroy some inventory and not some, a lot to manage our inventory.
Because it costs so much money just to sit on the shelf.
Correct.
And what was it? Just like items in sizes that
it'd be like, for example, the way it works is like the more volume an item takes up in the warehouse. So let's say a backpack. If in 2020 I launched backpacks and we sold 5,000 in 6 months, right when we sold out, I was like, okay, I need 10,000, right? Well, it turns out people got a backpack. They don't necessarily want the next one. So I'm stuck with 9,000 backpacks, for example, that are taking up, I don't know, 15,000 square feet over my contract limit that are even through Black Friday. I put them on discount. They're not moving. Like we're not making dents in this product. It's like, fuck. Like, and so, yeah, it's,
that's one of the biggest risks with clothing,
bro, the biggest risk. So it's pretty much 2023, major reality check.
Yeah.
2024, much less of a reality check, but we still had like inventory management issues. Thankfully now we are in the best spot we've been in like 3 years.
How do you decide when to just get rid of something?
When you're weighing how much it's costing you, how much, and if something's been through, let's say 2 to 3 major sale events,
People
and
like, nah,
there's
we don't
I'm
want
not going
this.
to take it.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, the issue also is like we expanded our product range so much because I was trying to chase Gymshark, bro. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I was trying to, and I think we kind of lost our identity in a way because I was just trying to go bigger and bigger and bigger and more. Like, I want to offer this, I want to have this, versus when we started the company, it was much more intentional.
Yeah.
And this is the year that you're going to start seeing, like, from Alphalete, the much more intentional brand and getting back to really like what we want to do, which is hone in on really good product, put our name behind items that we are really proud of. We're going to, test them first with more conservative inventory. If they respond well, that's when we restock, instead of me just going balls to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
All I cared about was really genuinely like increasing revenue year after year, not knowing what the consequence looked like. Because for 8 years straight, this is a good podcast, bro.
Yeah.
For 8 years straight, I was like, everything is working until it didn't.
Yeah. We'll get back to the podcast in a second, but first of all, I want to say a massive shout out to Bionic. I have been using their supplements for the past 4 years. I never knew what supplements I needed to take. I'd always go into the pharmacy and buy a load of random bottles and end up popping pills all day, every day, not having a clue if I was consuming the vitamins which I should be consuming at all. But Bionic came to save the day. They are a tailor-made supplement company that will put together your own specific formula based on your activity, your gender. I have Bionic Pro, where I get the blood test done every 3 to 4 months, and based on that blood test, I get my own personalized formula. For those people who don't want to do a blood test or don't have access to that, then you can go with Bionic Go, where you just have to fill in a short questionnaire, and based on that questionnaire, you will get your tailored supplements with a surprisingly high degree of accuracy. So stop the guesswork, sign up to Bionic, and ensure that you remove those deficiencies and build up your immune system. So what would you say has changed over the past 10 years regarding what helps to shift product? Because I know there was definitely a period of time where big influencers were helping brands to sell their products. But then as time went on, a lot of these big influencers started to stop promoting other brands, and then they would create their own brands because it became much easier to start your own brand. It was more of a thing.
Yeah. I mean,
so how are these trends changing?
It's a good question. I mean, to me, I would say just the two biggest things that impacted us in the last few years were, number one, like you just said, more brands popping up, influencer led and influencer found. I love to see it. It's like, that's me also. Like, I love to see people like pursuing what they want to do and like their own vision, and, knowing that, man, I could really do this on my own. Like, let me not rely on a brand and like taking that big jump. But obviously that's more competition. That's more options. It's more fitness brands. But what really affected us was in the last 3 years, bro, the amount of like dupes on Amazon, like knockoffs, cheap versions of product that looks similar, right? I mean, once we came out with the scrunch legging, the Amplify, it took about 18 months to 2 years, but you start seeing brands on Amazon that literally using our product photos with a different name on the back that starts with an A. And it's just like literally identical, the quality shit, but the price, it's like 2 for whatever. Crazy. And like over time, as that started taking market share, bro. It's like, if I can get it cheaper, times are tough, I'm going to go here. So that's when like you really need to rely on your brand. Your quality, yes, but like you have to have really strong marketing and a reason for people to support and not just choose to save the money. So like that was those two things, the dupes and the just a rise of so many other options, while like slacking off on our marketing, not intentionally, but like we weren't hitting the mark.
Mm-hmm.
So those three together put us through a rough time.
What was the most effective form of marketing for you guys?
It's changed.
Yeah.
So before, it used to be our campaign videos and our beautiful like imagery. right? Like as in like very high quality production, very, very artsy, very, very, we brought that kind of element, just like the cinematics were brought to the YouTube channel. We tried to bring that to the brand and it worked for many years. But I would say like when COVID hit and all the marketing started sort of shifting, the organic trend came in. We were late to the party. We were stuck in our ways of like, I want the grid to be cohesive. I want,
trying to be like a bit perfectionist with the way something looks.
Bro, I would plan that grid out to be color coordinated to the max. It'd be perfect rows. It was all this, but like, and at the time, like, it was work. The website was beautiful. Everything went together so well. But over the last like 3 to 4 years, that's really changed.
Yeah, there would be some people that just literally put an iPhone on a tripod, and then they just put it on and they talk about why they like it,
and that's what works now.
Yeah,
so it is very different, very, very different.
Yeah, I guess that just highlights the importance of how quickly you need to
pivot,
adjust, and adopt to what the current trend is.
Yeah. While still like finding a way to stay true to your brand.
Yeah.
Right. So it's this year in April, we have we've been in business 10 years now for Alphalete, and we have our first rebrand officially. So it's like the last few years have really caused us to look internally and be like, okay, what do we need to do to establish who we are, where we're going, and how we want to model like every decision we make. And so our goal this year, starting in April, is to like truly lean into being hyper intentional about every move that we make, every product we make, every influencer we bring on, anybody we choose to represent the brand, any event that we do, what are we tying it to? Why are we doing it? It's really like been and I'm happy. It's weird to say like I'm happy that we had these hard years, but I am, because if you're just on your highs, bro, like you'll never.
Well, you get too complacent. You get way too complacent, and you don't innovate and stay on top of your game, and then someone else will just take over.
Yep.
Where do you see it, like in an ideal world in 5 to 10 years time? And do you see yourself exiting, or is it not something you really think about?
I don't see with exiting. During all those hyper years, we had investment people trying to come in and this and that. And I was like, oh, fuck off. I don't care. Like, we don't need that. And to this day, like with Alphalete, it depends on the business. Like 3D, I want to exit. I want to find a way to really, really grow it. I want to be able to exit and have that become something that, can hopefully in 5 to 10 years, be a huge chunk of how I can kind of like be a little bit more comfortable, let the money make money on its own, that kind of deal.
Just throw it all into the gym.
Throw it all into the gym. I can build the gym out even more. But the gym, don't want to sell it. Alphalete, I won't exit, but who knows, maybe one day down the road, there may be an opportunity for me to sell a chunk or like a piece.
Yeah. Like, have you ever thought about giving away equity and teaming up with somebody who can?
And that's like what I'm learning now, especially like hanging out with Hermosi, hanging out with like a lot of these, like you realize like, okay, to grow something really bigger and bigger, and this is where it gets tricky, because like I used to only want to grow bigger. So now that my goals with the brand have kind of shifted to like right now, all I give a fuck about is I'm not thinking about exit or sale. I'm thinking about how can I build a community to be stronger than ever, and how can I build that cult following where people know and trust Alphalete and what we're going to do. And so like right now, that's my focus. And I would say that's going to be the next 3 years, 3 to 5 years. So as long as we stay there and at the same time learn from our mistakes and stay more conscious of bottom line margin, are we healthy as a company? Are we like not just being super like, what's Christian's gut saying to do? Let's just order 5,000 of the backpacks. Like, I want to evolve from that into a more structured, not structured in corporate. I know when I say structured in corporate, people are like, no, don't do that with Alphalete. That's not what I mean. I just mean a more informative decision based. We make decisions based off of data, based off what's working. We're being sure we have a good eye on the bottom line to be sure we don't lose money.
That makes sense. So talk to me about the 3D. This is, the clothing is competitive, but the energy drink business is also competitive. So how did this idea start, and How did you launch?
With 3D, pretty much I was known back in the early days of my YouTube as the white monster guy, bro. Jesus
You probably made them a lot of
Christ.
money.
Made him a lot of money. And any expo I'd go to, any event, people would bring me cases. I'd be signing white monsters, and just like that was my thing. I loved them, but I didn't love how they would, after one, your stomach kind of hurts. You get, you feel the bloat.
Yeah.
So
it's not something you really want to consume and then go do a workout.
Not at all. Because it just, and especially if you like got to the point of having 2 a day, bro, like, I mean, your stomach hurts.
Yeah.
So I knew that, okay, if I can make an energy drink, I don't know how I would ship it. I don't know how I would do the logistical part of creating it, but I would be sure it just wasn't as carbonated and didn't make my stomach hurt. So the concept was with 3D was like, originally should be an energy shot, like a 5-hour energy, and come in like a 12-pack, a really nice case, and like little foam inserts, and pop them out, and like, because I was like, oh, I can ship that for affordable instead of trying to ship a 12-pack of 16-ounce cans. Yeah. But the energy drink is what I wanted to do, because I knew that was what people correlated me to. Yeah. So
it's like Max with his sour strips candy. It's like, it makes sense.
Exactly. So in 2016, I met these 2 guys from Bite Meals. At the time, that was a meal prep company that would ship, frozen meals out, and like they were meal prep, and they would have like dry ice in the containers, whatever, like all packaged. And that's very impressive to ship, and like have a company that can ship online, but they're, actually getting you a pretty affordable deal. Mm-hmm. So these guys, and I was working with them. So the 2 guys, they come to Houston to talk to me about Bite Meals. We started talking about Alphalete, started talking about, man, I would love to start an energy drink, but man, the shipping, like, I don't know how I'd figure that out. They go, I think we can help you with that. I'm like, really? So, and they had already had connections with like a factory in Kentucky that could do flavoring. So I was like, all right, well, run some numbers, see like what we could ship a 12-pack of energy cases for. And
so the issue was not the actual putting the drink together.
No,
it was the logistics of shipping.
Because like you can't just go into gas stations, or you can't just go into distributors like with nothing. So I knew the only way to do it is we have to start it by being online. Yeah. We have to leverage the online presence to be able to kick this off. So they came back with like, okay, we can ship a 12-pack of cases, or a 12-pack of 3D for, I don't know, it was like $9. And that could be like a 3 to 5 day delivery. So I was like, okay, so if we sell it for $29.99, free shipping delivered to your door, divide that by 12, it comes out to like, I don't know, $2.24 or 25 cents a can delivered with shipping. When I go to the gas station, I'm paying $2.70 for a Monster. We got it, right? I was like, we figured it out. So we got the 3D made. We made it less carbonated, more juice kind of tasting. So it was easy on the stomach. The flavor was good. The branding was simple. Monster was so like kind of gaudy. I wanted to do something completely solid color, very neutral, very minimal. And we launched, and we sold $150,000 of cans in a day online. We took that information. My partners at the time, we made it, we made an agreement. They took that to gas stations. They took that to a few meetings. We got into 7-Eleven. We got into GNC. Based off, hey, look, we just sold in 24 hours, we sold 150K. Give us a shot. And they did. So yeah, things started kicking off for 3D.
So you said you get in 7-Eleven. That's every single 7-Eleven?
No, select stores. So once they would give me, let's say they gave me a list of like 10 stores that they were going to put it in, I would get on my social and be like, guys, I need you to run to these locations and take this inventory. And then they'll give us 20 stores.
Because they're testing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that
Same
makes
with
sense.
GNC as well.
And how did that go?
And Walmart, with Target, we were getting to HEB. We were rapidly growing. Peak year, we did $12 million in revenue. And I don't want to get into if you guys want to watch, like, pretty much I had a breakup with those partners that dragged out for like 5-6 years. So they ended up just starting a brand that looked identical to 3D called Prime. With Logan Paul. And so same color cans, same everything. And their attention went there. 3D got put on the back burner from my perspective, right? And
I did not know that.
Yeah. And I just came out with this information like 2 months ago when I did my What Happened to 3D video, because we were about to go into a lawsuit, spent a ton of money on the lawyer. It was just like one of those really not good situations. So
if anything's going to slow down the growth of
it completely shut it down. So what's interesting though is even with no movement on 3D, like it was to the point we wouldn't even speak to each other, man, at all. Still doing 10 million a year.
Yeah.
Like even last year, which is crazy. That shows how strong the brand is. So long story short, I got 100% equity of the brand. I said, or else I'm going to go through with this. We're going to go through something ugly. So they gave me the company. I found new partners from Raw, Bum Energy. We have a whole game plan of what we're going to do to separate 3D. We're rebranding it. We're taking all the artificial colors out. We're relaunching in May. We've already got 2 massive contracts, bigger than any contracts we've ever dealt with in the past before, lined up and ready to go in May. And many more to come.
It's so funny because I remember there being a hype about it, then I remember it just not being a thing anymore. I had no idea that was one of the
reasons. And then Prime launched.
Yeah. And holy fuck, that got some attention. Although I think that's I feel like it's dropped off a little bit.
I will say it wasn't such an issue when Prime Hydration dropped, because that was the first thing that dropped. It was when Prime Energy dropped for me. That was like the fucking kick in the face.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we literally in our contract agreed that we are not, us partners are not going to start competing energy drinks.
Yeah.
Period. And y'all just started an energy drink.
Yeah.
And now our shelf space where we were now just Prime instead of 3D. So I literally just saw it get swapped.
Yeah.
So it definitely sucked. But when I came out, I mean, honestly, I just gave a more in-depth explanation now than I did on my What Happened to 3D video.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, keep it professional, but I mean, yeah, it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
It fucking sucked. And, and honestly, bro, I'm not going to lie. Like I really was, even last year, was very ready to just call it quits on 3D, liquidate, fine, be done with it. The space is too competitive and I don't want to get back in it because it's just going to be too hard. But thank God for this loyal follow. And thank God that all the connections the contracts we're signing now, they remember 3D.
Yeah.
They remember what happened. So what actually happened? Like it was selling. People loved it. People ask you about it to this day. And so that me being open about like what's happened to this point, I plan on documenting the journey like fully with every step, every contract, every flavor testing, every step of the way. And now that I've got partners that I really believe are going to help me expedite this growth, we're going to come in aggressive pricing. So it's attainable. It's no artificial anything. It's clear liquid. Sits great in the stomach. They taste better than the originals. I think it's going to be.
I had one earlier. It was delicious.
The new one, right?
Yeah. I don't even know if I can say what it is, but it was delicious.
And I think I'm excited for it, bro. I feel I'm just proud I didn't give up on it.
Yeah.
Because I was really close, man. I mean, really close. Just because it was such an overwhelming, like, how am I going to get back into it? And if I had to do it on my own, this is the one business where I have partners, 3D.
Yeah.
Because it's one where I don't
imagine trying to do that by yourself.
I mean, it was that me and Heidi have had many long conversations this year about it. Like, can we? And
what was she saying?
She's saying you need partners, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, as much as I agree, yes, I do. And there's still that part of me that's like, but I can figure it out. And that's like, at what cost though?
Yeah.
And so, but luckily I don't have to go down that road. I've established really good, strong relationships that we're moving forward with. So the future looks bright, man. I'm pumped.
What advice could you give to people who are potentially looking to partner up with people, whether it be launching a business or scaling a business? Because I know this is such a huge decision to make, like who you are going to be splitting the equity with. Like what have you learned, and working with these new partners, what were you taking into consideration?
I think most people should not start off with partners.
Okay.
Like straight up. I think that in most cases you need to try to do it yourself, try to like do it with minimal resources, try to hire people for roles or hire positions that can do the same. Because a lot of times I think when people are starting something, you're here sitting on the couch with your friends and you're, talking about, you maybe have some drinks. You're like, it'd be sick, bro. What if we did this? Right? What if we did that? I think it's very easy in those early stages to be like, Mike, you're great at social media. I don't like being on camera. I'm pretty good at business. Like I'm in business school. This friend over here, they're really good with talking to people, right? In person. So like they could be our person that goes and like talks to distributors. I can be the factory. You can be the social media. Let's do it together, right? Even split 33, 33, 33. But the issue with it is when you're starting off already thinking like that and already like willing to, it's different. I don't know. It's really different when you've already grown something and you've already like, if you're getting bottlenecked by yourself or like with your team and you know that, okay, this partnership can really bring value in expediting this growth, or they can really bring something to the table that is not.
With the previous partners, did they have experience?
They had
experience. Were they friends?
They were not friends, but they brought the shipping experience. They brought the helping with the formulator. Like we can literally make it to where you do the marketing, approve the flavors, do the can design, and we'll handle everything else. So it sounded good. So I did it, and I don't regret doing it.
Yeah.
I don't regret doing it. But again, that was a hell of a headache.
Yeah.
So I think that.
So you're willing to partner up now because it's already kind of established and it is still selling.
It's still selling.
Exists.
It has very good potential. It's still doing 10 million revenue a year with no love.
That's pretty fucking good though.
I agree. And that's like with like 5 accounts. So it's like, it's actually crazy.
Is this from, what's the split with online orders versus people buying?
Oh, it's like all in person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's people who see it on the shelf and they're like.
But it's just very few stores that carry it right now.
Yeah.
But the stores that do carry it are ordering a lot.
Yeah.
And it's pretty, I'm not going to say it's easy to do. If you do $10 million in clothing sales online, it's very different than doing $10 million in a physical product that's like in multiple locations.
Yeah.
Very, very different. And I would just say just go back to like the advice on like partnering. I don't want to say like you don't need it's not right of me to say you don't need partner this and that, but I would just say like really try to find a way, ask yourself like deep down, is this something I can do myself if I really try, if I actually like apply myself, can I like get this going? Can I get can I get this moving? Most likely the time will be yes.
Yeah.
The answer will be yes. And I would say try to keep it in-house as much as you can until you reach a point where you realize that going into something with somebody they could bring something that you can't bring. But oftentimes with that said, like you can usually hire whatever that will be. But in certain cases, like for me with the raw guys, right? This is something where I have so much on my plate.
I was going to say, I feel like knowing you, if this was the only thing you were doing, you could probably do it yourself. If you put all your time and attention into it.
Yeah.
You got too much going on.
Too much going on.
You got the clothing, you got the gym.
Summer shredding, the bodybuilding league.
Yes. So they're the 4 main.
Just 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Bro.
And then if you count personal brand or whatever.
Yeah. That's a lot.
It's a lot. And I'm like trying to have a family.
Yeah. And I've been watching your content like over the years, and I feel like there was definitely one point where it was getting too much, the work.
Oh yeah.
And you'd stop like looking after your health a little bit, or your mental health.
1,000,000%, bro. And we didn't even talk about Odilia, which is this fashion brand that I invested $2.2 million in and ended up canceling because I started it and I made the decision to start it when I was just so hyped on everything happening. I was young. I was like, I can fucking handle it. I can do it. Turns out that happened like during when I had to destroy that inventory for Alphalete, same year where I had to make the call. I can't fucking take anything more on my plate. We have to scrap it or else it's going to keep costing me more money.
You invested into another.
Oh yeah, bro. A fashion brand called Odilia. Yeah.
Why did you want to do that?
I was like 24 and I was like,
it was a startup at that point, or was it?
It never launched. It never launched.
$2 million gone. Oh.
Yeah, stupid.
That was just going to be just you, or like
that was, well, so I had essentially, my fashion designer for Alphalete that really like excelled with me in the early years, I allocated that project over to like, hey, I want you to run this. Here's money to do it. Let's like, but it just didn't work, bro. And there was more so like, there was just so much on my plate that I couldn't handle giving any attention to it. And I was like, this is just way too much over my head. I was addicted to Adderall, trying to like keep up, not sleeping, and just in a very bad place physically, mentally. I don't want to say that because I was willing to push myself to any limit. I'll just say that. And like literally any limit, to do what I committed to doing.
I remember watching one video. You had your orange hoodie on.
Yep. Greg Doucette did a video on that one. Yep.
I was like, what's happening?
Honestly, bro, seeing that video that Greg did, like really was what I needed to kind of like, fuck, I need to chill the fuck out. And that was like that was a whole night, no sleeping. But I had already committed, this video was going up. So I have to get it filmed. I have to get it done. I have to like, and then I remember like uploading and falling asleep, waking up to this like, and I was like, what did I just do?
I was like, you've edited and uploaded this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's
become a long way from there.
Yeah, it's weird. Do you feel like you're trying to give yourself more time to, I don't know, find this work-life balance a little bit? Or do you just love going all in on the grind?
No, what I'm realizing is like, I don't want to say it's necessarily like just work life. It is work life. It is. But it's also like, it took that year of Alphalete going down for me to realize like, what am I doing trying to do putting all my time and so much energy in all these things? I'm competing. Why am I doing 2 shows and trying to do this? And when I can't even truly say that I have everything handled for my main business. Mm-hmm. Like that was a big wake up call, bro. I was like, that was huge. Mm-hmm. And it was a big reflection point. One, that's 2023. That's the year we lost money, first year. That's the year that I was taking the most Adderall until I finally, like the day I finally competed, my second show, that was the last day of taking Adderall, cold turkey. And since then, that was a monumental, like just, it took a few months for me to start feeling okay. But really like 2024 is the year I really have been feeling like myself. 2025 is where I feel like I'm ready to get back in, but like in a controlled, I'm more aware now.
Yeah.
Than I ever have been.
I've never taken Adderall. What's it like?
You've seen the movie Limitless?
Yeah.
That's how you feel.
Really?
Yeah.
Might have to give it a try.
It's
probably illegal in Dubai.
The reason it's just so addictive though is because like, I mean, most people take it just like I took it for the first time in college, right? For a test.
Is it like Ritalin?
Yeah, same thing.
It's
okay, essentially the same thing.
I had Ritalin at university.
The same exact thing.
I could not like, I remember when I wasn't studying, I just aggressively went around my house cleaning it and organizing everything.
That's how it started, man. It was like,
but you can't, I could not sleep on it.
I was like, take one, get a good grade. Take one, get all my meal plans knocked out. Mm-hmm. Once a week, Monday mornings early, right? Take one. And then you just slowly over time, your dosage needs to go higher. You don't feel it as much. You feel like any business decision or anything I'm doing that's good, it just so happens I'm on it. So you start to correlate, like I need to be on it in order to do this meeting, or I need to be on it in order to do this or to do that. And like eventually, like with such a high tolerance buildup, and I was prescribed, by the way, like a lot, 90 milligrams a day I was prescribed, and I was finding a way to take more. So it's like, but at the same time, like there's a time when 60, 90 milligrams, I wasn't feeling it. Right. And it was just like, it was so bad. And I truly like advise anybody who's, even if you think you're not relying on it, just get off of it. Like just get off of it. It's not, you lose your soul, bro.
Yeah.
You really do.
How did Heidi deal with that?
The thing is, like, though I was on it and like a lot, I was still very good. I was still like, come home, I would still like give love, attention. It's like, it didn't put me in a bad mood. It's like, I just became normal on it.
Yeah.
I like truly, I felt like normal on it. It just helped me like push through more. Right.
Mhm.
So it's not like I don't know. I think now that I've been off it, I like think back, and I just don't want to think back to what those days look like. But I was still like me.
Mhm.
It's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. That's the only thing I've ever had like an addiction to. And I've been open about it on my channel this year. But yeah, I think that's been the best thing I've done. Like, best decision I made ever was just none of it anymore.
Where do you think this drive comes from within you?
I don't know, man.
Because I don't meet many people like you. Like you're really pushing yourself, and you really you want to achieve a lot, but it can be destructive.
It's self-destructive 100%.
Uh,
Yeah. Like literally, I would, when people would ask me about it, like I would be in the years, well, one, I put myself in many situations. I love to commit to things to really give myself that deadline.
Mhm.
So there's been times where I'm like, fucking take me. Like whatever, I don't give a fuck. Like I will get through it. I don't care what I'm going to do to myself. Just like, I need to get through this because I said I would do it.
Mhm.
And I think it just, honestly, I think it slowly became like, it all stemmed from wanting to live this motivational, like, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to fucking do it. If I commit to something, you commit. Like, I think I just really like, those early motivational speeches I was listening to and stuff were like, I mean, I really, truly like let that guide me. And like, I was like, and also the fact that I was putting myself out there to the public on YouTube,
Uh-huh.
I truly have this ultimate fear of like letting my followers down.
Yeah.
Or like letting them see like me not lead by example. So like, I think that pressure was always like the thing. But in recent years, it's been like, let me fucking just say how it really is instead of just like pushing through and saying, look, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But man, you've achieved a lot.
Thank you.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit for what you've done.
Thank you, bro.
Like obviously going around the facility today, like, I mean, I've been around the world and I've seen a lot of gyms, but the one thing that's cool about Alphaland is the community and the type of people that are training there. Like it's just like nice people, like a good group of people. And then obviously the facility itself is absolutely huge. Like you could go and have a different workout in a different area every day of the week.
Thank you, man. It was always like trying to build the best gym we could. You know? And it's just so happened that 18.5 acre property came available.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened like I was in a position to be able to buy it and to be able to renovate it and to be able to, so I don't know. It's like, I'm very grateful and blessed to be where I am.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You've got that, you've got the clothing. Are you going to continue with summer shredding, or is that? Summer
shredding is nice because it doesn't kill. It doesn't, it's not one of these that like, it actually, I would say summer shredding is the only business that I really feel like, if anything, it just gives me fuel.
Yeah.
That's I would say my favorite, most rewarding business because it's just an amazing, we have like 9 divisions: men's transformation, women's transformation, your bodybuilding, classic, physique, bikini, wellness, figure, and a new fit physique, which is like a drug tested men's physique division. But the transformation classes are really what separate the organization. And we've had people, I mean, I don't want to go on but it's like, we have people that have literally lost hundreds of pounds. They've transformed their lives. We have a new class called our comeback class where it's like, I want to hear a pivotal point in your life that you went through that has turned you into who you are today. If it's 50 pounds, you lost 200 pounds, like what really changed your life? Was it a car accident that made you really, like we have a whole class dedicated to like stories. We have all the competitors that enter those divisions. They make videos. We play them on the big screen in front of the audience. They get to walk out at the end of the video. You see their before picture, then they walk out and you're like, what the fuck? It's just like chills. And it's like, that's the most, and that whole organization was built off of my YouTube channel, Summer Shredding Series. Yeah. So it's like, it's just, that's evolved into something so special. So like that doesn't take like, that's just exciting to go to the shows. And I have a great event person, Ashley, who we have the rhythm down, you know what I mean? And now it's just like, it's so much fun.
Yeah, that's the. I imagine that would be amazing for community building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you gonna continue competing, or are you gonna
not on the list right now?
Yeah,
just trying to live the Mike Thurston lifestyle, get shredded and hold it.
Yeah, and you look to start family soon, hopefully
as soon as possible. We're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you've done a lot. So plans this year? Anything exciting happening? You mentioned the relaunch of 3D.
We have, I guess the biggest things would be relaunch of 3D and rebrand of Alphalete.
Mm-hmm.
Two big things this year.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. It's been pretty inspiring today, listening to you, and then obviously being at the gym kind of makes me want to
extend the trip. Let's hit some legs tomorrow.
Extend the trip, but also like just seeing how you have everything in one place. I would love to have that in Dubai somewhere. But we were talking about like the levels of the competition in the game now, especially out in Dubai. It's like you're competing with people who have very deep pockets.
Yeah, but don't remember, like the only reason Alphaland is a thing is because like that location fosters Alphalete, it fosters Alphaland, it fosters summer shredding, it fosters everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's the only reason we were able to do that move, was because like that was going to be the one spot with everything. Not like one LLC is generating enough revenue to be able to do it. It's like as a whole picture, that move made sense.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, if you think of it that way, that's all. And maybe that's just a very bad persuasion tactic I use on myself to convince myself to do what I want. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, thinking about it that way, it made sense.
Yeah.
So like, if you look at it from that lens of like bigger picture, maybe the gym doesn't have to make you, this much money every year, but maybe if that can like break even, and maybe you can use the same facility for content, for this, for events, you can rent out this space. Like, can you find a way to make something like that be your home? Cause like that was my goal for until Alphaland opened. I was tired of having our warehouses over here, our gym over here, Alphalete over here. Like it was so like, I just wanted it in one place. So like it kind of worked out that spot could become that.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of what Gymshark did as well. They've got their HQ in the UK somewhere. I've not been, but it's I guess it's a similar kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, where can people find you, Christian Guzman, on
YouTube?
Which channel?
The smaller channel.
The smaller channel, yeah. Okay, so subscribe and watch. You're not uploading videos to the old one? No. So everything's on the new one. And then obviously check out Alphalete 3D. Can people buy that online at the moment, or we're going to have to wait a bit?
Just follow the Instagram. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate everything. Appreciate your hospitality. Keep killing it.
It's been so fun, man. Thank you.
Nice.